is not coming.
And is not coming. Okay, all right. So Paul, you all set? Okay, so the time being approximately 7 PM, we will call the June 25th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Welcome, everybody. I am going to use my prerogative here to jump right down to continued public hearings, 35 Village Road. They have asked to continue, which essentially means that they didn't feel they were ready to present tonight, and they've asked if they could continue it to our next hearing in July. So that's what that's about. So thank you for all coming down. You're welcome to stay. They'll bring refreshments in later. No, no refreshments. It's just like,
Is it liquid?
sorry?
Beer? If there's beer, I'll be staying.
Yeah, okay. Not unless you bring it.
Well, anyway, at least I got to see what the new town hall looks like.
Yes, yes. Thank you, folks. Thank you. So we'll see you in July, okay? Happy 4th of July.
We have to vote to accept their request for continuance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Benevento.
That the same company, they're one of their last projects.
Anthony, how you doing?
What's going, Roger?
You know what? If you have a question, why don't you say it right
Yeah, we
here?
could have this on the mic
Yeah.
and then we can have it as a
Luck with the house, I
comment.
hope.
Yeah.
That would
What's your name and address, ma'am?
All right.
Okay.
Is it true? Or is it just rumor? Their last development that they created, one of their developments in the New Jersey area. Once they got all of the comprehensive.
That 35 Village Road.
He's my neighbor, he's selling his house, it's right across.
I don't know about that, but again, that a lot of companies do those sorts of things. That's up to them.
I mean, has anyone looked at the size and scope of this property? Where is all of this drain water gonna flow to?
That's what we're going to find out next meeting,
Bottom of that hill floods.
right? That's what we're going to find out next meeting.
You put 200 units, no one's challenged the 200 units.
So what's going to happen is they have an engineer who's working all that out. We have an engineer who's reviewing what their engineer came up with. So,
It's their engineer, and the question, it's beyond the pale. I mean, this whole project, we're ending up as the town of Middleton paying for their profits. I'm a capitalist, I love them making profits. Why are we gonna be the ones that are gonna bear the greatest amount of burden from everything about it? Noise, sound, dirt, we've got a 50-year-old building, when they start blasting there, what's gonna happen to Front Tower? If they
yeah,
start
all of that stuff has to be part of the permit.
How far down are they going to find bedrock?
I have no idea.
Well, is it gonna be 15 feet or is it gonna be 6 inches?
That will all be part of their building permit. They'll have to satisfy the building commissioner and the fire department. Yeah.
Let's hope.
Okay.
Quick question.
Thank you.
The website had the things that were going to be talked about on the 23rd and the 27th. Will those all push back now?
Yeah.
Like, the last one was like anything anyone wants to talk about. So that'll go to September now? And the website will get updated?
Anna?
Yes, I actually just updated the website yesterday, so you probably caught it before.
It said the 23rd was site plan and drainage and all that. So that's already been updated because they're not here tonight?
For July 23rd.
July 23rd?
We are hoping at this point, unless we hear otherwise, that July 23rd we would address the civil engineering review, so
And then
drainage,
the
utilities.
August would be anything anybody wants to bring back up, I guess?
Correct, that's kind of our schedule of looping back around
Okay.
before the end, but at any time during the public hearing, we can hear any public comments.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so with that, we need to accept a motion to continue, or I will accept the motion to continue 35 Village Road to our July meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Linda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay, and I'm going to have to appoint somebody tonight, so.
Both of them.
Any additional discussion?
I'm already appointed.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
I'm already appointed.
Oh, you are appointed. Oh. How'd you-
I'm filling in for,
Ann? Ann?
no.
Bill?
Bill.
Thank you.
Bill? Okay, all right, so
Okay.
we're all set. So we have 4. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think if you could appoint Anthony for tonight's meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can appoint him.
All right, so motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, we will go to approval of our May 28th meeting minutes. I did review the video from start to finish. Any additions, comments, corrections, edits, changes to the minutes? Hearing none. Accept a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Anthony. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
All good?
Abstain.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I wasn't here.
Next up, the final loading plan.
Lotting.
Loading. I know, I read that 4 times today. I'm like, what's a loading plan? 1018 Boston Street, 49 South Main Street. Applicant is requesting endorsement of the final loading plan under MGL Chapter 480, 40B, sorry, sections 20 to 23. Probably should put my glasses on. Do we have someone?
Hello, thank you, Chair Benevento, members of the board. I'm Lars Onion with Vilbridge Acquisitions, and following up on the plan that was part of our comprehensive permit and site plan approval process, we're now moving towards the process of closing on the property, and so we need to record the subdivision as the first step in that process. So here to formally request endorsement of the plan. So I have a mylar here of the plan to be recorded within the deeds, sorry. I'm not sure what to do now. Should I-
Is that the plan that we originally looked at and approved?
Yes.
As part of the permit?
Yes,
Okay,
yep.
All right.
There's been no changes to the plan. It's just
Okay.
getting it formally endorsed now.
so this is just an endorsement of the formal plan to be recorded and so forth?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
We're the permitting authority, so normally this would go to the planning board for an A&R. But
Yeah.
because it's under 40B, we got to sign off on
yeah,
it.
we have to sign off. Okay. Any,
And all he's got to establish is access and frontage, which he does.
okay. Members, Craig, anything else? Any comment on this? No? Okay, Anthony?
I have none. I wasn't a member of the board when this was reviewed.
Okay. Linda? Nothing? Okay, Carolyn? No? Any comment from planning? No? All right. With that,
Literally just setting the lines.
with that?
It's literally just setting the
Yeah.
lines for the lot.
Yeah, okay. With that, I'll accept the motion that we accept the plan.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Good luck.
Before we go, typically the board members would sign the plan so that it's all taken care of. You just sign right on the plan.
Sure.
So if we take a minute and do that.
Okay.
What's the best way to, should I bring that to each person? one at a
We can
time?
just go up.
We can just go to it.
Just be easy to go up.
Leave it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, this feels so official.
Yep. Thank you.
Very sweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also to accept. We voted to.
It's been a long road. Thank you. May I trouble you to just put the date on the lowest line, June 25th? Thank you very much.
So Lars, any thoughts on when we might see dirt being moved around and?
I'm hoping August.
August?
We're moving to
Excellent.
close by the end of July. We do have the access permit from Mass DOT, including drainage connections and everything else.
Awesome.
So that all came together.
We constantly, I'm sure I'm not the only one here that gets questions like, hey, when are we going to see something?
Yeah,
So,
yes, yeah.
Excellent.
Everyone's asking. trust me, I'm eager to get going, I promise you. So yes, that's the old goal right now. And just, you never know with how things are with interest rates, but that's the goal.
Excellent. All
Hopefully
right,
soon.
thank you very much. Good luck.
Oh,
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Okay, folks, one thing we have to get back to is 35 Village Road. In addition to requesting a continuance, they requested an extension. Annie, you want to fill us in on that?
Yes, so under the 40B comprehensive permit, typically the board has 6 months, 180 days to issue a decision from the filing date of the application. So that will be July 21st of this year, 2026. And so, seeing as we're still in hearings, they've requested that we extend that deadline 60 days to roughly to September 30th.
Okay, and it's my understanding that counsel from the applicant as well as our counsel have also conferred on this. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments on this?
Did our council have an opinion on it?
Yeah, they actually, they were okay with it. They had sent something, I was copied on it. I just had one question, should we extend beyond and have them finish early? Or if they need, are they going to have to come back? They prefer to just, it was August 30th?
September 30th.
Excuse me, September 30th. So,
We can, if they need another extension, we can give it in August if need be, or September, so.
yeah, so,
They're not asking for extensions for lack of effort, trying to get this to the
Right.
finish line,
right.
so I think it's fair enough.
Okay. So I'll accept the motion to grant the extension.
Motion to grant the extension?
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay. Next up, 227 Maple and 0 Gregory Street. Applicant is requesting site plan approval for a modified site plan. So, gentlemen, just before you start, I was not at the last meeting, but I did review the video of the entire meeting. I had several questions, some of which are already been shown on the plan. I know there were some questions about parking space dimensions, handicap space dimensions, aisle widths. Just as a matter of formality, generally laying out a parking lot, it's usually 60 feet, 18 feet depth of space, 24-foot aisle, 18 feet for depth, right? A typical parking space, you can go 10 by 20, but a typical parking space being 9 by 18. I know that my colleague to the left here had questions about that some of them were 12 feet, or Anna, you might have mentioned it up, that they were 12 feet. So I'm presuming this plan now has corrected that?
Correct.
Handicap spaces, what are your dimensions for the handicap space?
They're also 9 by 18, but they have the correct 5-foot buffer for the stripe zone next to
Yeah,
it.
so a handicap space, ADA requirements for a handicap space is 8-foot stall width with a 5-foot, no parking zone. So if someone's in a wheelchair, they can get in and out. Is that what you have on the plan?
Exactly, yep,
13 feet?
yes.
Okay, all right. And one thing that I didn't see in the presentation when I watched, but you do have it on the plan, was the parking requirement in terms of number of spaces. So how many do you need and how many are you proposing?
So currently there's 40 on site, but we're proposing 37. We're gonna have to restripe the parking lot in order to.
So my question is, based on our zoning requirements, and you have 4 different uses. You have the auto body, you have the pizza shop or sub shop or whatever it's going to be, restaurant, you have the hair salon, and is it an insurance company up front, or just some office space, right?
Office space.
So based on those uses and the square footage, how many spaces are required?
I believe it's 34,
So you're above that,
correct?
okay, including the handicap spot.
Yes, sir.
There are no compact spaces, correct?
No compact spaces, no.
Okay. And then the only last thing I have a question on, and I'm going to go to the members because they all got to ask questions last time and I wasn't here.
Sure.
There was a lot of discussion about the auto body and the fact that there might be vehicles parked out in the parking lot versus inside the chain link fenced area, correct?
Correct.
And I had a couple of questions on that, because number one, we've had other people coming in for permits for auto use place, whether it was detailing or auto bodies or that sort of thing. And I think in most, if not all cases, we don't want cars stored on the property, right? Unless they're stored away somewhere, right? Either in the building or inside. Are those cars that would be worked on, are they stored on an asphalt surface or are they stored on gravel?
Let my partner answer this.
They're stored on gravel at the present time.
Okay,
And we've also,
so I guess my question is, and did you also need a Concom filing for this?
I don't believe so, not with this.
You're not near any wetland?
No, sir.
Okay, but I know you're in the Ipswich River watershed area, right? Ipswich River is like kind of right behind you.
yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Near the-
So,
near the,
so my question is, if you have cars that have been in an accident, and they're damaged and potentially could be leaking fluid and things like that, how do we capture that without it seeping into the ground and getting into the groundwater? That's one of the questions I have, okay?
Sure.
I'll let you think about that one for a minute, and I'll go to my last question. And my last question was, we talked about one way coming in off of Maple Street, you can't exit onto Maple Street. And there was a lot of discussion about signs, and I think my colleague to the right down the end there had said, let's put pavement markings down. Signs and pavement markings don't control those kinds of things. They advise people, but they don't control them. You have to change driver behavior. That's what you have to do. My concern is, what's going to prevent someone from leaving there? And I know you said, well, maybe the police department can help us out by being down there. And the only thing I would say to that is if the owner wants to hire police details to make sure people aren't leaving, but given everything else in the town, it's unlikely we're going to have a police cruiser sitting down there to make sure people aren't leaving this property the wrong way.
Sure.
Right? It's a signalized intersection right there. Route 62, incredibly busy. So, my thought was, how are we going to prevent people from doing that? Because people are going to go out that way. People even go out that way down the street coming out of the 99. They're not supposed to do that on 114.
Yeah.
So those are my questions and my concerns. Certainly the one relative to how are we capturing leaking fluids and things like that. I think that would be a concern. And then also, maybe that driveway turns into a right-in only. So if you come into the property, you have to go down Gregory Street and come in. So you can right in only, but people coming from Danvers would have to go down Gregory Street to come in. They wouldn't be able to make that left in. It's right turn in only. And you could do that by, with geometry, right? How you put curbing along the driveway and that sort of thing. So you can only turn in. It would be difficult to try and maneuver around that. So again, just some of my thoughts. I know that this property in the past, the previous permit, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the members that were here prior to me several years ago, there was, it wasn't necessarily complying with the permit. Would that be fair to say?
Totally fair.
Yeah, totally fair. So, my concern is, how are we going to comply now, right? If we didn't comply then. So anyway, those are my comments.
Yep.
I'll go to the members now, and we can talk about this a little further. Yes,
May I respond in terms of
sure,
the,
sure. Come over here so we can hear you. Yeah.
I'll come over here, so. Jim DeBarro, Hyperion Design Group. Here, we can take 2 chairs here. So as for the, an automobile that got in an accident, it might be leaking fluids and is stored on site. One potential remedy for that is there's specialized drip trays you can buy for this exact situation that the body shop would have to be, in the lease structure, they'd have to use these for these cars that are dripping. So that way they do capture these, and that way you can take those drip trays out and put them in the proper oil receptacles that maybe these shops have. They likely do have if they're working on automobiles, especially with, any sort of oils in that nature.
Just let me ask you a question. So the cars that are there, that were there before, that, I think there was a couple here that were complaining about some of the things, all right? The cars that were there before, were they towed there and operable, or were they just junk cars that they ended up getting towed there and now they're sitting there? I think, Counselor, you had mentioned something like they ended up I think your comment was, there's a new sheriff in town, right? If there are junk cars there and they're stored out back in the gravel area with no intention, at least in the foreseeable future, to be repaired, they could be leaking fluids, right? So that's the concern. It's not necessarily what's in the shop, because, yeah, they don't want that stuff dripping in the shop. They're gonna collect it.
Of course.
My concern is more if we're storing junk cars there, right? And they're out on the gravel and they're leaking.
Right.
Right? That's going into the groundwater, and that becomes a hazardous situation, right? So,
I think the idea is that it's an auto body shop and it's not a secondhand parts shop, and I agree with you. The idea of basically having vehicles stored there and cannibalizing them for other purposes, that's not within the purview of the auto body shop. And, we would be happy to make that a condition of this approval. Insofar as also on that subject, I think that the last hearing, what we discussed was the fact that in a couple, maybe even more instances, there were cars that were parked in marked spaces in the parking area that somehow were involved with the auto body shop. We would try to address that by putting new signage up. Thank you. By putting new signage up that basically indicates that you can't have cars that are being fixed there. They have to be in
so
behind
you're saying
this area.
some spaces, aside of the excess spaces, each operation will have assigned spaces? Is that what we're
No,
talking
no,
about?
what we're saying is, particularly in the back of the parking lot where the surface is, we're proposing signage there, new signage there, that indicates that it's for customers going into the buildings. It's not for purposes of the auto body shop storing vehicles there. Those vehicles, as you have alluded to, belong behind the gate in the right as you're looking at the property. So we're in agreement with that.
Right. But again, the concern is, are they operable vehicles, right? Or are they,
Well, yes.
Yes,
The
the
difference
answer, yes.
is, and what I believe I'm hearing, the difference is, are these vehicles coming in because they are going to avail themselves of the services of the auto body shop, presumably to be repaired and put back on the road, versus having vehicles that are permanently there and are being cannibalized as a parts center? We're not, and the distinction is very clear. It's not a parts center, you can't do that. And as I indicated, we're happy to make a notation on the plan to that effect.
Can I just
yes, go ahead, Craig, please.
unravel my brain on this? I don't really care what they do with the cars that are back there. All I care about is that they don't leak.
Sure.
So whether they're there for parts or to be put back on the road someday, I really don't care. And I'm not going to make the building inspector try to make that determination either. But what I am going to do is require a special condition that no storage of hazardous materials be allowed in the yard, including damaged or crashed vehicles leaking fluid, period.
That's fine.
Certainly.
I have no problem.
This shall
with that.
not include the storage of equipment that has other incidental amounts of petroleum. So but
I have no problem with that at all.
Okay.
I
Craig,
think,
anything
does that satisfy the concern? Because that was my biggest concern, seeing that, I mean, that's not an insignificant area that you're having gravel. So it's like, I'd almost rather it be pavement to trap it from going into the stormwater, but so long as you keep it, they can't have fluid in any vehicles that are back there. I think that helps.
Which is consistent with existing law anyway. I mean, you wouldn't have a situation where you would be storing hazardous materials there because certainly state statute wouldn't permit it, and I assume you have a town bylaw.
Well, there were a lot of statutes.
Cars with, gas and oil in the
Yeah,
engines that are
absolutely.
slowly
Yeah.
leaking over time. Like, they can't have fluids in them. Like,
I hear you.
I mean, the other option is, we say, okay, you need to pave it and put in grease traps, which there's a cost associated with that,
Agree.
so.
Have no problem with the language that's being proposed.
Certainly.
Okay. Craig, anything else while you're at the floor?
not really, no.
Okay.
Just whatever feedback you have on the traffic, that was all.
Anthony?
I like that. I also like your distinction between cars that are going to be serviceable and serviced and are serviceable versus ones that are just being cannibalized. I think if you included language on both parts, both to what Craig alluded to and to what you're alluding to, that's the best result I can see as far as having a belt and suspenders. It would also be easier to, to kind of police. If you go through the lot and you see the same cars there for a long time, I know there's in particular one in Danvers that's right on the watershed where it's just all old cannibalized cars behind. And,
But just from an enforcement standpoint, for a condition like that,
yeah,
you want Scott taking inventory? Literally like pulling like, because you'd have to pull VINs, because they don't have license plates. And then you'd have to keep track of it over time to try to judge when that car was or wasn't there.
I wouldn't say you'd want them to police it, but if somebody decided to, then they'd have the method to enforce it. I go by car parts all the time. You know which cars are being serviced and which ones are there for parts. But if it would be overly burdensome, then I can see where you'd feel that way, definitely.
I can weigh in here that typically we do want to have conditions that the town is able to enforce when we're rolling through.
Conditions what, sorry?
Conditions that are enforceable by the
Are
town.
enforceable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, just to note, just to reiterate the point that it is an auto repair shop, so it's for getting them back on the road, so that way they aren't lingering there, there's no transient, or there's no, cars that are there for long-term storage. It's essentially the idea with the space here.
So it's auto repair or auto body?
Auto body.
Auto body.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Anthony, anything else?
No.
No. Linda?
I'm still curious why this never came to ICDRC,
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Why,
Industrial Commercial Design Review Committee.
I can answer that.
And it's not on the list of places needed to come, but go ahead.
No, typically I do send the site plan approvals to ICDRC because this was a modification. I think that's how it slipped through my radar.
Anything else?
That's
No?
all I got.
Carolyn?
Yeah, the one question I had was, sorry, how deep are these parking lots? You might have already asked this, and I was distracted. The parking spaces along the,
9 by 18, is that
Correct.
right?
they are
That is
9 by
correct.
18?
Yep.
Okay.
What's the, I can't see this because
Yeah,
I
I
think
can
it's in.
zoom in on an iPad
I think
if
it's
you
in 1 point.
Yep.
I can't really read it. What is the dimension from the edge of the parking stall in the one-way area to the green area?
Oh, that one is 17'4", right? And then as you go down towards building B, it actually opens up to 20'8". So what we actually do is we necked that down, so that way people who are entering off of Maple Street, it's almost as if if you were looking at it from the other way, you'd see the signs that we are going to be placing that say "Do not enter one way," and seeing that it's a one-width drive aisle. So that way it does deter people from going out
So
that
the
way.
one-way area you said is 17 feet?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and where it's two-way, it's 20 feet,
20'8", correct.
which is kind of narrow for two-way traffic,
It is.
especially in a parking lot. I mean, it's one thing if, we're 10 and a half feet going down Washington Street in Brookline, but that's a little tight right there. I'm sorry, Kellen, you had the floor.
No, go ahead.
I'm just,
For that kind of how it is a little cramped there is on the original plan from year 2000, we did have some planting buffers there, and we re-implemented those in this plan. So we wanted to make sure that we took some space for those planting buffers. Is it why that it's not wider, if you will.
yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not crazy about that. It's tight. But, go ahead, Carolyn.
Yeah, I'm still just not crazy about the fact that we don't have an engineering plan here. Like, this is close. It has a lot of features of it, but it just, and maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing engineering plans. This is not, it's really hard to buy into it when I don't see the types of things we would normally see on an engineering plan. And we don't have a scale here, right? Like,
There's a scale on the plan.
yeah,
It's 1 to 20.
typically you have a visual scale too. I'm just like, and we typically see a lot more dimensions, and that's where it's really hard for me to accept this as
I think they were trying to
plan.
differentiate between a construction plan and a site plan, or a development plan. Of course, this is a site plan.
Possibly. What I'm used to seeing is something along the lines of what what you had surveyed in September of 2025. You had surveying done. We have a surveying plan, and it has all the surveying information on it,
Right.
in addition to the engineering design.
This
On a topographic
Yeah,
survey, so we
yeah,
actually know
exactly.
what physical features are there. I mean, you kind of did this on an aerial, right?
Well, this CAD that's based is the CAD that's used in that exact plan. So it's the CAD that's taken from there and put it into a way, so that way it's a graphic site plan, right? So it's what we're planning on doing to the space to improve it, not necessarily topo elevation markers, because we're not changing the topo, right? It's essentially what we're trying to do here is make sure that the edits that we're making here are as visually clear as possible, and not muddled with, various
Right,
data
but
points.
this is more of a graphic.
Right, correct.
To Carolyn's point.
Right.
Generally, we're gonna see a plan that is a full topographic survey with actual dimensions that, this fits here precisely, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
Can I
This is-
offer a note on
Yeah.
this? Just because it's part of the conversation, but I did get to a couple conditions. I spoke with the building commissioner about this. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it tonight. One request that he did have was that we do have a surveyed plan before issuance of occupancy, if that condition is acceptable to the board. That we would have a plan that's stamped by a surveyed, registered surveyor. Yeah,
Would that be after the work is completed?
no. That would
Before the
be,
work is completed? Okay.
yes, yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Which kind of puts you a little at risk, because if you're showing this plan and then you go do a survey and what you have here doesn't fit, you gotta come back here,
Certainly.
right?
Yep.
So that's the risk you take, because they will not issue a building permit.
Correct.
Property has been surveyed, and we have obviously a survey plan on record at the Registry of Deeds.
That's not what we're talking about, though. You're talking about the property line, right?
I'm talking about a survey plan that shows the meets and bounds.
That's not what we're talking about, though.
What
We're talking about a topographic survey, which is all the physical features of the property, not just meets and bounds, not just the property line.
As Jim has indicated, none of the topo has changed.
Sorry?
None of the topo has changed.
The problem is, Counselor, is we don't have the topo on this plan. So we're going by what this gentleman has designed on an aerial.
Right.
So I don't know if this thing is fitting on here properly, if it's within the property lines, I don't know.
So let me just respond to the aerial view that we're looking at here. I know.
And just by the way, before you say anything else, as you just heard a minute ago, we don't usually get it like this. We usually get a set of drawings with dimensions on it, so we can look at the plan, the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
We're not asking you for a traffic study, because these uses are already there, which we could, right? We're not asking you for a stormwater plan, which we could. We're just asking for something so we can make a proper judgment before we decide whether we're going to issue a permit for this or not. No, we could issue a permit and say, okay, here's your permit, but we want all these things before you start.
Right.
So, pick your poison.
Yeah.
And the other part of this is, as I said, we don't have a great history with this property, right? So, we need to make sure this is right. It's not fair to the members here to be voting on something that we don't have all the information for.
Sure.
Maybe we shouldn't.
What's that?
Maybe we shouldn't.
Well, that's the way I feel, but,
That's the way I feel.
I can't, I mean, we can vote if you really want us to, but I would prefer to continue until we have an actual site plan.
and you said the commissioner also wanted a survey plan, right? Is that what you, yeah.
A survey plan or a topo plan?
Something that shows the dimensions and scales of what's on the plan. So it's, we're not asking you, I don't think, no one's asking you to do like 5 sets of plans, right? But there's language in there, counselor, that you shall do these things, and you haven't done these things.
Well, that is what we're proposing by putting this plan in front of you. And
Right, but you're asking for us to approve it with conditions that you'll fix it later. And your client already has a history of having questions about plans and what's been recorded at the registry and
asking
what's
for
been
anything to be fixed
taken down
later.
to the clerk's office, and we've already been back and forth with this before your involvement in the case. So I'm personally not in favor of voting for any site plan that isn't certainly stamped by an engineer. It's all in the bylaws. Just read the requirements and meet those requirements. Right now, you don't meet those requirements. I'm sorry.
Well, I think we've attempted, of course, to work with everybody. I have documentation in my file that clearly says, as of January 16th, that I inquired of your planner and I inquired of your building commissioner. Is there anything else you want, anything else you need? Nothing. So we're here tonight on those representations.
Right,
Now,
and you came
I'm
with a
hearing that you want a
plan, you came with a plan, but it's deficient. The plan, you can come with one plan, that's fine, but it has to have all the information on it.
But sir, we inquired of your building commissioner.
They don't vote, sir. We vote.
Could I finish my statement?
Yeah, you can, but, and
We inquired of your building commissioner, and I
Okay.
understand he doesn't vote, he advises you. And we said to him, and we said to your planner, if there's anything else that you need, please tell us, and we will work to put it on the plan. So quite honestly, we came here tonight with the anticipation that we would finally get an approval so that we could move forward. This is a site plan. We're not constructing anything, we're trying to correct what the situation was, and I was clear when I indicated before, yes, new sheriff in town. I understand this has had
Can I
a
ask a
very,
quick-
very difficult history to it, but we're trying to take and correct the situation.
who endorses this plan? Who certifies this plan?
So it's under Hyperion Design Group, and we have an architect on staff who's.
There's no stamp on it.
It's a stamp, I submitted the stamp plan to Anna.
An engineered stamp plan?
It's stamped by an architect. I do have that, and I'm sorry if
What kind of
that one
stamp
is
is on it?
not in the draft.
Architectural?
Architectural, correct, yeah. And I just want to note also that the plan that you're looking at here, it has an aerial background to it because we were asked to put that on there. The original one, if you look back from what was submitted for the meeting in late May, did not have that, right? So this plan here is to better visualize for you folks to see what's going on in the plan, while the actual CAD of this plan is from the certified PLS surveyor that was given to me so I could create this plan. As a professional licensure.
So normally, we're not trying to be difficult, we're just trying to make sure we have the information so we can make an informed decision, right?
Right, correct.
So normally, this would be maybe the first sheet. The second sheet would be the line work, right? Which would show all of the,
We have that.
right?
But the problem is.
We don't.
We need to be able to have it as part of the decision to record, right? So we can't record a CAD file. And what we've had presented doesn't have the information that we want to see on a final site plan that gets recorded.
Certainly.
We're not trying to beat you up on this.
Right.
But we can't take your file, I don't know what's going on with this. We can't take your file out of your computer and put it at the registry of deeds.
I'm not talking about doing that at all. I'm saying that we have a survey on file that's been done by a certified
With the proposed work on it?
Correct.
Where is it?
It's integrated into this plan here.
Right, so, this is, the engineers and the architects always are banging heads, right?
Right,
So,
right, yeah.
So, for example, I'm looking at this plan. I don't know what is proposed, I don't know what is existing, right? So, that second plan would have a line work on it, would say, existing, R&R existing granite curb.
Yep.
Right? 6 inches loam and seed, whatever it might be. So, I don't know, I'm looking at this plan. Are you putting in new curbing?
Correct. We are
Where?
putting in new curbing.
Where?
We're putting in new curbing for the new,
Where?
so that's actually an old plan. You're looking at an old plan.
That's the one we have. Do we have any?
That's not the most recent plan.
It doesn't have a date on it, does it? Oh, no, 5/29?
529?
529?
Okay. Can I see it real quick? Come up
Yeah.
and take a look at it?
Just, my point is, there's no don'ts on here, like proposed,
Also, this says 5/29.
proposed mill and overlay, proposed 6-inch granite curb, proposed,
No, I think the date's just wrong.
handicap ramp, with tactile, with detectable warning panels. I don't see any of that stuff. There's nothing on here that's what's proposed or what's existing. Come on, you're in this business, you know better.
Of course.
You know better.
There's nothing on there.
We were asked to modify the site plan. So what we're coming to you here is we have the existing, how it's been, right?
Let's make this easy. I'm going to cut you off because we'll just keep playing ping pong.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
Let's make this easy. We need a plan, not this. We need an engineered drawing, right? That shows what's proposed, what's existing, what you're doing. Maybe some typical sections that shows, mill and overlay. Where are the handicap ramps in here?
They're shown on there.
Where?
They're shown, can I point it out to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Handicap ramp is proposed here. We have a handicap ramp here, that's existing.
How do I know that?
Well, it's not changing, that's why.
Are we making it ADA compliant?
So it is
Let me rephrase my question. Is it currently ADA compliant? Does it have detectable warning panels?
not that I know of.
Then it's not compliant. We're not going to approve it. As soon as you touch it, you own it.
We're not touching it. It's an existing
So
non-conformance.
now you're not going to put in handicap ramps.
We're putting in a new ramp for the new building A, or building B, in the back, that's where a new ramp was
And then you're going to leave the
requested.
other ramps non-compliant? Ain't happening,
Noted.
okay?
Noted.
Come on, you know better. We need something that if you're doing a site plan, we're not saying, oh, well, we're not going to touch that ramp, but we'll fix this one. So you know what? If you're handicapped over here, go into building B instead. Not going to work. We need a plan that is a full plan. And we know what we're doing. We
Stamped
know.
by an engineer.
Huh?
By an engineer. It needs to
Yeah,
be stamped by an
and,
engineer.
what's existing, what's proposed? I don't know what this is. This is I mean, I like the drawing. It's great if you were showing sort of an architectural rendering. But this is not an engineered drawing.
That was the intention, is to show the proposed site plan. And
Right,
in a
but
graphic sense, right.
and that's great to say, oh, that looks nice.
We're never informed to have that engineered plan.
Did you read the zoning requirements? I mean, the submission requirements?
Correct. It is I actually have asked before to say, is an architectural stamp okay to put for a submission? And that is correct.
Does it say that we need a drawing that shows existing conditions? No, doesn't? Maybe we
I'm
need to
not sure.
update them.
Does
Maybe we
it?
need to update the bylaws, or the zoning requirement for submission. Anyway, we can go back and forth. I
Sure.
think
No,
I think you know what we need, right?
The
We
engineering
need an
plan.
engineered drawing. I feel bad that, you come back and you thought you were going to get this tonight, but unless members feel that we should close on this.
Honest to God, I thought it was just, as you said, almost like a rendering that we get usually with
Yeah.
an actual site plan that has dimensions on it. So I was just flipping through because I'm like, where's the other plan? Like,
Right. So this is our second meeting. I'm curious on where these comments were the first meeting.
I wasn't here.
Okay,
And
fair.
to be fair, we tried to, I tried to make it very clear what I was expecting as far as what I wanted to see on it. I wanted to see ingress, egress. I wanted to see a lot of things. Unfortunately, there's only so much hand-holding we can do. I don't know that I've ever had to tell an applicant that their plan needs to be stamped by an engineer. So, yeah.
By the way, is this where the dumpster area is at the end of building B? Is
Correct.
that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
So all of these questions that we're asking would be answered by an engineered plan. Like, we may ask for clarification on things, but like, we're asking for dimensions on things, so that would already be on the plan.
Noted.
You know, among other things.
Anna, is there an example plan that if they reached out, you could give them an example plan of what we're talking about? Because it seems like they may not be clear on what we need.
Yes, and I believe that when you all submitted back in December, I was not here, but I do think that was the first step of, I believe, what we're looking for. I'll go back and verify, but if my memory is correct, that was a surveyed plan, and it showed the existing conditions, and so we would want to see basically that with the proposed modifications kind of
On that plan?
on that plan. But let me verify that.
Okay.
It's December.
So I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction.
Certainly, yeah. That was the meeting that Mr. Johnson was present for. Yep.
So, and again, when you're preparing that plan, you're showing us what's remaining, what you're proposing, right? I will say, things like ADA, if you get stuff that's non-compliant, we're gonna be looking for that it's now compliant, right? And that goes for anything, whether it's parking stall dimensions, whether it's aisle widths, whether it's, I'll be honest with you, I'm not totally psyched about that one way, because I don't know who's gonna enforce it, right? So there's other things I think you just need to take a look at, think about the storage stuff that we talked about, car storage and that sort of thing, so. And Anna can get you sort of an example of the stuff that we typically see.
Yeah.
for
No,
this.
I totally understand that. I've seen engineered site plans from a civil engineering firm. This is not that, right? And
Right.
it's been under the
Right.
assumption
Right.
for the past 2 months that this is not that, right?
Yeah.
But
And I was going through the same thing that my colleague to my right here was just, maybe, where is this plan?
You know what it was that threw me is the detention pond plan, because that is a more engineered plan.
Yeah.
So I think I assumed that was what we were working off of.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
apologize.
All right, so do you kind of have an idea what we're looking for at this point? All right, good, thank you. And as I said, I would reach out to Annie, just so you can get an idea of the kind of stuff that we typically see, okay?
certainly. Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, you don't have to do a traffic study, because these uses are already there. So that's a little bit of a benefit, right, for you. So, and there's, just one other question before you go. The impervious area is staying the same?
Correct. There's no new paving.
No new
happening.
paving?
No.
Okay.
No new paving.
All right, good.
We're
All right.
reducing paving
Okay,
paved
good.
space.
All right.
So.
Okay. All right. Members, anything else from anybody?
No.
No? Everybody good? Anna, anything from you? No? Anything from Paul back there in the back? No. No. All right.
I appreciate you guys working with us. Like, we're not trying to be hard. It's just, there's certain expectations that we had, and
Totally.
if we didn't communicate those early on, I apologize, but
Yeah.
we'll
no.
get you to the finish line. I think it'll be a better finish line for you guys.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer for us for sure to find out that, after waiting a month when we could have been working with an engineer to get it done, we didn't have that, so it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we want the project to be successful.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So.
We want to do that, but we
Yeah.
also want to make sure it's right. The other thing too is we don't like to set a precedent.
Yeah.
And then the next person comes in and said, well, those guys got to do this,
Yeah,
right? So we don't want to do that either, okay?
got it.
So with that, I'll accept the motion to continue to our July meeting.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion made and second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. See you in July, okay? Thank you. All right. Anna, anything from you for us before we wrap it up?
Not for me.
Nothing? Any members have anything? No?
No.
Chief Will's Day coming up? Okay.
You working, Craig?
Glad I was able to bring it up. All right, with that.
Let's get the good ones too. I think last
With-
year,
yeah, but-
it was like 4 hours in the sun next to like the hammer slamming the bell.
yeah.
But at least you won't be in pain.
Yeah, we'll see. It might
A
be
different kind of pain,
Yeah.
right? So, all right.
All
With-
good.
With that, I'll accept the motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
So moved, and thank you, Linda, for seconding that. Thank you. Motion made and
Aye.
seconded. Without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you.
I like how you read my mind. I think that's great.
You gonna bang your, it's where we were adjourned?
I still,